Hello there, a very good evening and welcome to another edition of Primetime News on TV1. I'm Charlene Benedict for the Newsfirst team.
And I'm Naveksha Gunasekara, and here are your headlines for tonight.
New resident information system by acting police chief.
පාස්කු ප්‍රහාරදී සිද්ධ වුණා වගේ අන්තවාදී ක්‍රියාවලට අවශ්‍ය කරන ස්ථාන ලෙස භාවිතා කිරීම වැළැක්වීම සඳහා පින්මට්ටමේ සංවිධානය කිරීම තමයි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
Operation Yuktiya to continue irrespective of challenges, says a defiant public security minister.
මට ඇති වෙන්න දෙයක්වත් නැහැ නැති වෙන්න දෙයක්වත් නැහැ මේකේ. පොලිස්පතිතුමාටත් එච්චරයි. දැන් පොලිස්පතිතුමාට පොලිස්පතිකම හම්බුනේ නැත්නම් ආයින් එලා දේශපාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්.
Tear gas fired at non-academic staff protest close to Jayawardhanapura University. Ranil is the leader who can uplift the country, says Minister Prasanna Ranatunga. Pakistan launches retaliatory strikes into Iran. Will the Red Sea crisis boil over into an international war? This fraught situation is not to the benefit of any party, says Indian External Affairs Minister on Red Sea crisis.
Taking a look at those stories in detail now, Acting Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Thennakoon announced today that Sri Lanka Police plans to gather comprehensive information about residents in every household across the country. He said that this information will be vital for changes in residency, including both arrivals and departures.
Sri Lanka's Public Security Minister Tiranalas, the heads of 5 departments that operate under the ministry, attended a joint media briefing in Columbo. The acting police chief speaking at this media briefing elaborated on the process that will be adopted to collect information of every household.
A total of 14,022 community police officers have been set up across all Grama Niladhari divisions in the country, and a youth member from each area is officially appointed to the post of vice chairman of the committee as we hope for youth representation. Each committee will comprise 25 members. Sri Lanka Police had printed a trilingual form that will gather information on all those who live in a particular residence, and it will be with the local police. If a person moves to a new location, this committee will report it to the nearest police station. If a person is also vacating a residence, the committee will report it to the nearest police station. We hope to prevent people from renting out premises to commit crimes, engage in extremist acts, peddle drugs, and even engage in underworld criminal activity. We hope to prevent events like the Easter Sunday attack from taking place. That's why we plan on organizing these communities at the grassroots level.
Since its launch 1 month ago, the Yuktiya operation has made significant progress in its crackdown on drug and criminal activity in Sri Lanka. Police have apprehended over 40,590 suspects, seizing drugs valued at nearly 4.8 billion rupees. In addition to the drug haul, authorities have also confiscated property worth 725 million rupees, including luxury vehicles and homes suspected of being linked to criminal activity. Minister Tiranalas declared at the media briefing that Yuktiya operation will not be halted under any circumstances.
I will disclose a list of people who are against this soon. The people will take care of the rest. If someone says that we need to end this operation because the prison population is increasing, then that is a joke. It is up to the prisons to set up facilities and commence operations. We've been planning this for months and began this operation after the appointment. This operation will continue. I asked the US ambassador as well, and she said that she did not mean it in that context. Any right-minded person will have no reason to oppose this. I have nothing to gain and nothing to lose. It is the same for the police chief. If he does not get the post of IGP, he can step down and enter politics.
දැන් පොලිස්පතිතුමාට පොලිස්පතිකම හම්බුනේ නැත්නම් ආයින් එලා දේශපාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්. මම දැන් මම කියන්නේ නෑ මම කියන්නේ
If there is opposition, the best thing is to leave. If someone is not allowing me to function as the minister, I will leave. I have nothing to gain. I am at a loss in this post. There are many top-tier individuals in society as well.
මේ ඇමතිකම කරන්නේ. සමාජයේත් ලොකු ලොකු අයත් එහෙම ඉන්නවා.
කියන්නේ නතර කරන්නේ නෑමයි මේ.
නතර කවුරු කිව්වත් නතර කරන්නේ නැහැ.
ජනාධිපති කිව්වොත්
ජනාධිපති මං හිතන්නේ කියයි කියලා.
I doubt the president will say so. No matter who calls, once captured, that is it. We will not let go of the sharks and whales as described by many. No matter what they say, it will not stick with us. We will disregard them. When the UN human rights letter reached us, I disregarded it. Let them send letters. A handful of NGO operators and their lawyers send letters overseas, and in response statements are issued. I will not falter in the face of these things.
හිතනවාද මං ඕකට සැලී කියලා නෑ.
Marking the successful completion of 1 month of Operation Yuktya, Sri Lankan police held interfaith programs across the country yesterday. The acting Inspector General of Police joined the ceremony held at the historic Kalaniam Rajamaha Viharaya.
62% of the number of people that we wanted to arrest have been arrested within a month. This operation will not end until all of them are arrested. When we complete all of those arrests, one might assume that the vacuum will create a profitable business for them. Therefore, we will not leave room for that. As part of this operation, the intelligence agencies and the Narcotics Bureau have launched a separate mission targeting those who are hiding overseas and sending drugs to Sri Lanka. This is away from the public eye. The intelligence agencies and the Narcotics Bureau are carrying out a mammoth task as part of this operation.
ප්‍රබල පිරිසත් අඩංගුවට ගන්න නැතුව අග ඉන්න පිරිසත් අඩංගුවට. දැන් ඒකේ තියෙන තත්ත්වය කොහොමද?
කවුරුර කෙනෙක් දන්නවනම් ප්‍රබලයි කියලා කෙනෙක්.
If anyone has information about these so-called powerful people and can give us the information, I am ready to act on it and make arrests. We obtain detention orders and hold suspects for days in the police and take steps on their network and follow the chain of delivery. I do not think that any law-abiding person would oppose the efforts taken by the Sri Lanka police together with the military to completely eradicate drugs from the Sri Lankan society.
Multi-religious events were also organized across the country.
Former Parliamentarian Mujar Rahman filed a fundamental rights petition with the Supreme Court challenging the appointment of Deshabandhu Tennakone to the post of acting Inspector General of Police.
Former Member of Parliament Mujar Rahman challenging the appointment of Deshabandhu Tennakone to the post of acting Inspector General of Police notes that when the respondent served as DIG, he failed to fulfill his responsibilities ahead of the 2019 Easter Sunday terror attacks, where he had received notice of prior warning of the attack, and during the attack on protesters at Gallface Green in 2022, among other matters. He states that these events illustrate Deshabandhu Tennakone's inability to fulfill the responsibilities associated with the positions he occupied. The petition states that any attempt to appoint Tennakone as the IGP of Sri Lanka on a permanent basis will result in a direct attack on the rule of law. The petitioner states that any steps taken by the President to nominate Deshabandhu Tennakone as the IGP on a permanent basis will constitute the continuous infringement of fundamental rights guaranteed in the Constitution. The petition also states that if the Constitutional Council takes steps to grant approval to appoint Deshabandhu Tennakone as the IGP on a permanent basis, their actions would also constitute to the continuous infringement of fundamental rights guaranteed in the Constitution. The petitioner seeks a declaration from the Supreme Court that a nomination by the President to appoint Deshabandhu Tennakone as the acting IGP is an infringement of fundamental rights. Mujar Rahman in his application seeks an interim order restraining Deshabandhu Tennakone from accepting the post of IGP and from exercising the functions until the hearing and final determination of the petition. He also seeks an interim order on the Constitutional Council preventing them from granting approval to the President with regard to the appointment of Deshabandhu Tennakone to the post of IGP until the hearing and final determination of the petition. The petition also seeks an interim order restraining Tennakone from accepting any further appointments as acting IGP or similar temporary appointments until the hearing and final determination of the petition. Deshabandhu Tennakone, the Attorney General and members of the Constitutional Council, among others, were named as respondents in the petition.
The Court of Appeal today informed the Attorney General to investigate and report back on the possibility of assigning officers of the Special Task Force to the security detail of former Director of the Criminal Investigations Department, Shani Abesekara, and also to reissue the license permitting him to carry a pistol.
The writ petition filed by Shani Abesekara requesting court to ensure his security was reconsidered today before a bench of the Court of Appeal comprising of Justices Nisanka Bandula Karunaratne and Shashi Mahendran. President's counsel Upul Jayasuriya, who appeared for Shani Abesekara, said that his client received death threats during his tenure in the police department. The President's counsel requested officers of the Special Task Force to be assigned to provide security to his client. Senior Additional Solicitor General Ruhanta Abesurya said that 8 police officers have been assigned to Shani Abesekara's security detail. But Shani Abesekara's lawyer again pointed out that only 3 or 4 police officers are engaged in providing security to his client. The petition is scheduled to be taken up once again on the 21st of February.
Sri Lanka police used Fatia gas to disperse a protest that was launched by the Sri Jayawardhanapura University Trade Union Confederation this afternoon.
Thousands of non-academic staff at government universities across Sri Lanka launched a 24-hour strike today against a 25% increase in the stipend provided to university lecturers. The strike also seeks secure monthly allowances owed to non-academic staff and calls for increased salaries and improved protection of government universities. The non-academic staff attached to the Sri Jayawardhanapura University decided to engage in a protest and thereafter attempted to proceed to the Vijayarama Junction from the university premises. Thereafter, Sri Lanka police used tear gas to disperse the crowd. Thereafter, the group proceeded to the Vijayarama Junction to protest.
The rulers of this country meticulously divided the academics and non-academic staff and only increased the salaries of the academic staff by 25%. How are the non-academic staff supposed to live? What is this injustice? We demand that our MCA bonus be raised by 25%. Until that demand is met, we will be continuing the protests.
Meanwhile, protests were staged across many places such as the Open University Navala, University of Visual and Performing Arts and University of Peradeniya. The convener of the Inter-University Students' Federation, Madhushan Chandrajit, filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission regarding the tear gas and water cannon attack on IUSF members opposite the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura yesterday.
Yesterday, we organized our protest march peacefully. According to the constitution, it is a basic human right to protest. Since Ranil Wickremesinghe became president, the people are assaulted. They fire tear gas aimed at people. Because of this, a large number of people were admitted to hospitals due to the injuries that they sustained. That is the reason why we, as the Inter-University Students' Federation, came to the Human Rights Commission to file a complaint.
The Students' Union of the Columbo University staged a protest this evening.
The Student Union of the University of Colombo protested from the Faculty of Law. Thereafter, they proceeded to the College House, demanding solutions to academic activities, problems related to hostels, lack of professors, and an increase in the Mahapala scholarship funding to match the current cost of living. The students dispersed after protesting for approximately 2 hours.
This protest was organized to highlight the academic welfare issues in the university. At present, students are forced to leave aside their academics and work to secure a salary that can cope up with the current economic situation. This is because the Mahapola scholarship funding does not meet the current expenses.
The students dispersed after protesting for approximately 2 hours.
Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa declared his unwavering opposition to any legislative bill that tries to suppress the people.
Civil groups met with the opposition leader to raise their concerns over the online safety bill that is to be presented and passed by the government.
The government is attempting to establish a dictatorship in this country under the guise of protecting the rights of children, mothers and other marginalized communities. The government is working to suppress the freedom of expression and many other fundamental rights of the general public and embark on an anti-democratic journey. As a person who is in favor of democracy, I pledge that when we form a government, we will abolish all of these arbitrary laws. I request the current president and the government to withdraw these bills and engage in constructive discussions with all stakeholders.
The Eksa Janaraja Peramuna or the United Republic Front alleges that plans are afoot to revive a heavily criticized bill on online safety and push it through Parliament in a swift single-day session and thereafter prorogue the current Parliament.
යෝජිත මාර්ගගත ක්‍රමවල සුරක්ෂිතතාව පිළිබඳ පනත් කෙටුම්පත්.
We have received information that the President is expediting the passage of the online safety bill. They are planning on passing this bill in Parliament on the 24th and then prorogue Parliament on the same day. We have a serious suspicion that they are trying to pass the bill, temporarily stop the proceedings of Parliament and to do something questionable in the interim. The Supreme Court had held that 57 sections of this bill violate the Constitution. Therefore, immediately introduce a new bill.
මේ පනතේ වගන්ති 57න් 31ක්ම ආණ්ඩුක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවටත් පටහැනි කියලා ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨාධිකරණයේ යෝජනා කරලා තිබෙනවා නම් එම නිසා වහාම අලුත් පනතක් හදන්න.
Red Sea crisis.
Pakistan carried out missile strikes on militant targets in Iran, a rare attack on Iranian soil that is likely to further inflame tensions on the border.
Nuclear-armed Pakistan and neighboring Iran are both battling simmering insurgencies along their sparsely populated border regions.
Now, the cross-border attacks add to the multiple crises across the Middle East, with Israel waging a war against Hamas in Gaza and Houthi rebels in Yemen attacking commercial vessels in the Red Sea.
Pakistan carried out airstrikes against terrorist hideouts in Iran a day after warning Tehran of serious consequences over its attack on the Balochi group Jaish al-Adl's headquarters in its territory. Pakistan's foreign ministry said that a number of terrorists were killed during the intelligence-based operation codenamed Marg but Sarmachar.
Specifically targeted precision military strikes against terrorist hideouts in Sistano-Baluchistan province of Iran.
Iranian media reported following the missile attack from Pakistan, 9, including 3 women and 4 children who had not had Iranian nationality, were killed. Early on Tuesday, Iran targeted 2 bases of Jaish al-Adl in Pakistan's Balochistan province with missiles and drones. Jaish al-Adl, which is blacklisted by Iran as a terrorist group, was formed in 2012 and has carried out several attacks on Iranian soil in recent years. Following cross-border incidents, simmering tensions between Iran and Pakistan erupted, leading to ambassador recalls and potentially jeopardizing regional stability. China, a key ally to both nations, has urged calm and diplomatic resolution. Remarkably, the Iranian strike coincided with the recent visit of India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar to Iran. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar on Monday said attacks on ships in the vicinity of India is a matter of grave concern to the international community.
There have also been recently a perceptible increase in threats to the safety of maritime commercial traffic in this important part of the Indian Ocean. We have even seen some attacks in the vicinity of India. This is a matter of grave concern to the international community. Obviously, it also has a direct bearing on India's energy and economic interests. This fraud situation is not to the benefit of any party, and this must be clearly recognized.
The morning after Iranian attacks on neighboring Pakistan and Iraq, Iran's defense minister vowed Wednesday that his country would not set any limits on using its missile capabilities against enemies whenever necessary. Mohammad Reza Ashtiani said Iran is a missile power in the world. Iran has demonstrated its willingness to use its military might, even when it involves striking the territory of its allies and neighbors, with back-to-back attacks on Syria late on Monday, then Iraq and Pakistan on Tuesday. On 15th of January, Iran launched a missile attack on a building in Iraq's Kurdistan region, claiming it housed Israeli intelligence Mossad. This building also stood near an American consulate. Additionally, Iran targeted ISIS positions in Syria on the same night. The Israel-Hamas conflict in Gaza has expanded, with Israel now engaging Iran-backed Hezbollah in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Yemen's Houthi rebels are angered by the Gaza attacks, continue drone strikes on Red Sea shipping, targeting an Egyptian cargo ship to India yesterday. The US designated Houthis as global terrorists and retaliated with airstrikes after the latest ship attack. The US and Britain have reportedly kept targeting different Yemeni cities and regions under the pretext of the army's actions against Israeli or Israeli-bound ship in the Red Sea. Amidst this escalating crisis, Sri Lanka announces the intention to send a Navy ship to the Red Sea, though the deployment date remains unclear.
Sri Lankan President Ranil Wickremesinghe reached Kampala, Uganda today to attend the 19th Heads of State Summit of the Non-Aligned Movement.
The 19th Summit of the Heads of State and Government of the Non-Aligned Movement, a two-day conference scheduled for the 19th and 20th of January, will host leaders from 120 member states under the theme Deepening Cooperation for Shared Global Affluence. The Non-Aligned Movement was officially founded in 1961, drawing on the Bandung Principles, and such principles were adopted later as the main goals and objectives of the policy of non-alignment.
Amidst plans to deploy Navy ships to the Red Sea, the Northern Province Fishermen's Union raised a crucial concern, calling for the need for effective protections for Sri Lanka's own maritime territory or the Sea of Sri Lanka. Our fishermen keep losing their equipment due to Indian fishermen encroaching into the Sea of Sri Lanka. Although the government knows about this already, they ignore it and keep quiet about this issue. The president promised that he will provide maximum support to South Africa and Gaza. We cannot accept this. He is making promises to help people who are far away from the country when citizens of his own country are starving. The president should send the warship he is planning on sending to the Red Sea to the Pork Strait instead, so that the security of the Sea of Sri Lanka can be ensured. The Department of Fisheries has estimated the value of fish aboard the two Indian shipping trawlers apprehended in Delft at 20 million rupees. Over 15 years, they have taken away millions of rupees worth of fish from our sea. They can put on hold the operation of sending warships to the Red Sea and instead station about 100 officials to monitor the boundaries of the Sea of Sri Lanka. That way, we can control the encroachment of Indian fishermen into our sea.
இந்த நாங்கள் 15 வருடத்தை நாங்கள் கடந்து பார்த்தால் எத்தனை ஆயிரம் படகுகள் எத்தனை முறை இங்கு வந்து அவ்வாறான திட்டம் ஒன்றை வகுத்தாலே இந்திய மீனவர்களின் வருகை கட்டுப்படுத்தப்படும்.
Trincomalee erupted in protest today as residents rallied against the plunder of their city's natural wealth by foreign interests.
The protesters united under the banner of Defeat the Trincomalee Indian Economic Zone, a program accused of displacing villagers and disrupting their livelihoods. Protesters joined with the National Fishery Cooperation Movement and other organizations.
The authorities have left the fishermen in extreme poverty. Today, without considering any of their rights, they bring things calling it urban planning and make the fishermen leave their villages. They are sent to the lands used for cultivation. When the fishermen are sent there, the fishermen lose their jobs and the farmer loses the land used for their cultivation.
Who is the presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna? Minister Prasanna Ranatunga responded to this question following the Mathura Development Committee meeting today.
When it comes to the presidential election, people reach decisions based on multiple reasons. The people gave Mahinda Rajapaksa the victory because he ended the war. They voted for Maithripala Sirisena to instill good governance. I will not speak about that. They voted for Gotabaya Rajapaksa to bring about national security. The main issue in the country is the economic crisis. It was Ranil Wickremesinghe who took up the leadership responsibility to tackle the economic crisis. That is why I said that he needed to be given that opportunity. I am not aware if he would contest or not. If he decides to contest, he is the most suitable candidate to solve this national issue at the presidential election. The party has taken no such decision. I can assure you that no discussion was held in this regard, and we were not informed of anything concerning it either.
State Minister Prasanna Ranawira expressed his views on this matter.
I echo the same. Ranil Wickremesinghe uplifted the country to a certain level. It is Ranil Wickremesinghe who stabilized this country from the crisis we went through. We accept it without hypocrisy that it was he who brought this country to this state. He took away the long queues and conflicts. It is because of him that we can live like this at least.
Chief incumbent of the Mihintale Rajamaha Vihara, Venerable Valava Hangunavave Dhammaratana Thero, said that a candidate who does not represent the 225 in Parliament will be put forward.
We cannot expect any solution from any of the 225 in Parliament. We need a brand new candidate for the upcoming presidential election. Of course, we will create a suitable candidate. We'll let you know about it later. After that, we will prepare for the presidential election.
The launch of a new alliance band Dushaneta Thitha was held at the Pulatisi Buddhi Mandapa today in the presence of former ministers Roshan Ranasinghe and Arjuna Ranatunga.
We will move forward with a common agenda to bring the change that was needed by the Aragalaya. This is the last opportunity we have if we want to bring change to this country. Don't cast your vote for a bottle of alcohol or a packet of rice and suffer for another 5 years. The current generation is different. We have a generation that sees if an individual is worthy of being elected. This is where the country changes. This is where we will have conversations.
Sri Lanka beat Zimbabwe by 9 wickets in the third T20 international in Columbo to take a 2-1 series win. Batting first, Zimbabwe were bowled out for 82 runs in the 15th over. Brian Bennett was the top scorer with 29 runs. Wanidhu Hasaranga picked up 4 wickets, while Angelo Matthews and Mahesh Theekshana bagged 2 wickets each. Chasing 83 runs to win, Pathum Nissanka and Kusal Mendis put on 64 runs for the first wicket. Sri Lanka reached the target in 11 overs.
What a way to finish this for Sri Lanka. Pathum Nissanka picks the over-pitch delivery, goes over Lomani, ends up 39 and 23. A warm embrace.
And Pathum Nissanka finishes in style. That went a long way. That man on screen, Sirasa, will be very disappointed. Heading into this game, he would have had much more hopes since they won the last game comprehensively. But in there, it is 2-1 and Wanidhu Hasaranga leading from the front.
Yeah, third biggest win for Sri Lanka in T20 International. They beat India in 2020 series. Well contested between these two teams. First 2 matches going down to the wire.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News on TV1 for tonight.
Thank you for watching.
Good night.